ready?
Mm-hmm.
Rich Pellegrino, and I'm the director of the Cobb Immigrant Alliance, the CIA, and also a founding member of Cobb United for Change Coalition and other coalitions as well, immigrant human rights coalitions, and a national organization, a founding member of unitingamerica.org.
So how long have you been in the Cobb County area?
Since 2002.
My first question for you is, what can you tell us about the economic influence of illegal and undocumented immigration in the Cobb County area?
Well, first I'll start with the positive. The benefits have been growth. I mean, in all sectors, retail, automotive. I'm talking about the influx, the pre-2006 influx of undocumented immigrants into Cobb County, and of course a labor force for the businesses as well. And typically the undocumented immigrants are family oriented, they have a great purchasing power, they pay taxes. Contrary to popular belief, the IRS and the Office of Budget Management have both determined that they pay through tax ID numbers, even though they can't get Social Security numbers, millions of dollars in excess of any services that they receive. Interestingly also, the state of Texas and Kentucky did an audit as well and found out that they pay in millions more than they receive in services. So the next part of that question is, or correct me if I'm wrong, is what's happened since 2006, since the removal and since the harsh anti-immigrant laws, right? That's what you see. Since that time, what we've seen in Cobb County is a dramatic decrease in the tax base, resulting in the first budget deficit in Cobb County in 50 years or more. The closing of retail establishments, the blight of certain areas, and the cutback on services, including law enforcement. Furloughs and budget cuts have drastically decreased public safety. So while the powers that be do not attribute this to the harsh anti-immigrant legislation both at the county level and the state level, it's easy to see, and most of the human rights and civil rights community can see that.
Okay, so how has the influx of undocumented immigrants influenced Cobb County on the cultural level?
Well, again, I mean, what's happened with Cobb is Cobb at the 2000 census, or the year 2000, was about 10% minority groups and 90% white. Now, 10 years later, 10, 12 years later, it's nearly 50-50. So you have all of the bounties of what I call cultural diversity, unity and diversity. You have the festivities, you have the food, you have the attractiveness of the diversity of opinions and cultures in the school systems. And of course, I mean, along with that comes some clash as everybody learns to adjust to each other's culture. But that's America. That's what is the hallmark of America, is unity and cultural diversity.
Okay, regarding public policies as it pertains to illegal immigrants and undocumented workers, what does Cobb County on the government level do different than other counties in Georgia?
Well, the main thing is the 287G agreement, which is an agreement between the Sheriff's Department and the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or the Department of Homeland Security. Cobb County was one of the first in Georgia, or was the first in Georgia, and one of the first in the nation to institute that agreement. And the purpose of the agreement on paper was to identify real criminals, felony level, drug dealers and so forth. However, there were already laws on the books to facilitate that kind of cooperation between the federal, state, and county governments. So 287G in effect, deputized the sheriff's deputies as immigration agents. And there's good reason why the National Association of Police Chiefs is against 287G, because the purpose of law enforcement is to build trust with the community so that they can prevent crime from happening, to protect and serve the whole community, not to act as federal immigration agents. And so in Cobb County, the commissioners, although they don't have direct supervisory role over the sheriff, they do fund the sheriff's department. The sheriff is elected. And so they were implicit or complicit in agreeing with the sheriff's move to starting 287G, although the director of public safety, Mickey Lloyd, at the time, and the police were against it. And so Cobb County has become notorious, only second to Maricopa County in Arizona and Nashville, Tennessee area. We run kind of second place, tied with them often in terms of number of deportations through the sheriff's department due to 287G.
In this year's State of the Union address, President Obama said that comprehensive immigration reform is a necessity. In your own words, what does comprehensive immigration reform mean?
Well, it means a variety of things. And one is, which the other side always talks about and we always capitulate, is stronger border security. Okay? Again, even though all of the terrorists came through the Canadian border, not the Mexican, that is an excuse here. So elements of stronger border security, of course, there's drug cartels, realistic HB1 visa, HB1 and HB2 visa rules that allow employers to bring employees here for temporary work, and shorter wait times for people trying to bring family members here legally, because now it's 10, 20 years to immigrate, and this is a nation of immigrants. And then the big part of it that we want, and that the other side keeps shooting down, is for those 12 million or however many million undocumented immigrants who are here, have not committed major crimes, have been working, paying taxes, raising families, a path to legalization for them. That's what comprehensive immigration reform means.
How would such measures hypothetically influence Cobb County?
Well, again, Cobb County is just a microcosm of the country. So what it will do is, number one, it will reduce friction between the different communities, bring people out of hiding, enable people to become productive citizens of the county, of the community and the country, pay more taxes, raise the income level, the revenue levels for the county, bring services back, police and fire services, really all positives. There's no negatives, and also improve interdiction and deportation of real criminals, because right now they're underground and protected by the silence and fear of the legitimate community. So it can only bring us into the 21st century, really.
An overwhelming majority of the undocumented workers, illegal immigrants in the Cobb County area are of Hispanic origin. What can you tell us about the political and economic influence of non-Hispanic undocumented workers and immigrants in the Cobb County area?
Well, really, where I live in South Cobb, the first immigrants that I encountered there were African, not African American, but African, from Ghana, Nigeria, and so forth. And there's also Haitian, and of course Brazilian, which some people include in the Latino community and some don't. So, and there's also growing Eastern European, Russian, and I'm talking about large percentage of these groups are undocumented as well. We also have a large Liberian community that are in temporary protected status right now because of the revolution there. So, Cobb County is like America, is a diverse melting pot, and as soon as we accept that, embrace it, then again we will all advance together, and we'll see the reduction of most of the social and economic problems that are facing America.
Okay, my final question for you is 2012 is an election year. Things are quite polemic at the present. What do you think is the absolute biggest issue regarding illegal immigration going into this year's election cycle?
The sad thing is that one side, and I'm independent, I'm not Republican or Democrat, but the Republican side has chosen immigration as being the whipping post. In other words, the group to blame all of our economic problems on, to take some of the angst of the American people and blame immigrants, which to me is very low. And anytime you target any group due to political expediency, to me that's the lowest that you can go. So I would hope that the rhetoric during the primaries will soften during the general, in the general election, and there'll be a more realistic approach to the immigration issue. Just as President Bush, John McCain, and Ed Kennedy all worked together to try to get comprehensive immigration reform when Bush was president. During Obama's term, they fought him down tooth and nail on this issue, and whoever's elected, I hope they'll have a more realistic view of America and the role that immigrants have played in America.